As we come to our last session for today, I'd like to shift gears just a little bit. Rochelle Geyer, who is helping review this material, asked a powerful question that becomes very important as we try and integrate the way of a disciple into our own way of life and into the life of the church. She said, "What does this church bring to the table to help us integrate discipleship into our daily living?" She's asking that old question, a great and important question: why is church important? Is it important? Other than the fifth marker of discipleship, in community, everything else that we talk about could happen just as well in your own home or in your own life. In some ways, church can be a distraction from intentional discipleship. I mean, when you've been trained to think of going to church as checking off your religious box for the week, why, it can be very difficult to imagine intentional discipleship as an important element of your Christian journey. But it is. In fact, it is the most critical element of our Christian journey. We cannot be followers of Christ unless we are actively following Christ. So what does this church, our church, bring to the table to help us integrate discipleship into our daily living? At the highest level of purpose, I see the church, the community of faith gathered around Jesus, as responsible for creating a healthy environment where intentional discipleship becomes the norm. That means we must be clear about who we are and what we're doing. That means we say no to distractions and that we pour our energies into things which help people follow Jesus. Moving from high-level sense of purpose to actionable work in the life of the church, why, that means getting really good at a lot of things. Teaching people spiritual disciplines. We've got work to do, spiritual disciplines to learn. It means getting good at helping families know what intentional discipleship looks like, say, around the dinner table each night as we reflect on the day through the lens of the gospel. It means getting good at offering people opportunities to respond to God's call to live intentionally as Christ followers, at organizing God's people for the work of Jesus yet to be done in our community and around the world. It means getting good at speaking up when what we see around us doesn't match the ideals of God's kingdom. It means getting good at helping each other learn how to effectively share our faith in Jesus in meaningful ways. It also means getting good at offering worship experiences which are transformative and meaningful for longtime Christians, brand new Christians, folks just looking for answers, and everybody in between. There's a lot to do. Some of those things we already do very well, and some others we'll spend the next decade working on together, but we're getting clear about who we are and what we're supposed to be doing as followers of Christ who share life together in this complicated and messy thing called the church. One of the things about our discipleship pathway that has become so important to me is the idea that our gathering together and worship and praise has this purpose to prepare us to go out and live the gospel. We come back together, we see what happened, what worked, what didn't, how can we help each other, what did we learn about the world, what did we learn about God, what new and exciting questions are before us, how can we go out again and bless this old world with the love of God we know in Jesus. That work happens in community, which gets me to one of the most significant things our church must bring to the table. As we go forward, we must help people find a place to belong within intentional small groups of other disciples. This is how we stay focused. This is how we grow and become the people God has called us to be together. For some of you, this happens in Sunday school and will happen even more as we learn how to talk about it. For others, this will happen in life groups of 8 to 12 people organized by our church family. This is a new frontier for us with so much potential. In this coming year, we'll see how the gathered community of faith, the church, can, with the Spirit's help, support, enrich, and nurture our lives of discipleship. Truth be told, we can't do this work without each other. God designed us to share this work as a family, with each one of us having a piece of the puzzle. I hope you'll spend some time thinking about this in the coming weeks and months. We've been naming, describing and building a pathway to discipleship. Now we get to live it out together. I want to thank you for your time today and for your time each week. I hope you'll pray for each other before you close today's session, and I look forward to our last lesson next week as we think about what it means for our church to move forward together into this work. Thank you very much.